It is unthinkable what went down in that Waco, Texas restaurant parking lot. 9 dead, murdered. 170 gang bikers also under arrest. But there's more disturbing news tonight. Police in Waco, Texas on alert, bracing for more violence. Fox Dallas reporter Natalie Solis joins us live from Waco. Natalie, besides the alarm going off on that car behind you, what's going on there?
Yes, we've got an alarm going off. Police continue to search through vehicles. And so as they've entered the white truck over my shoulder, that alarm has been going off periodically. But as you mentioned, there are still fears here that there could be additional violence. Law enforcement has been on high alert. There has been a police presence you can see, a presence that you cannot see. Law enforcement posted in various places. But police do tell us that the threats have actually toned down within the last 24 hours. They have been very public and asking these rival gangs to stand down while they continue their investigation. And it seems as if these gangs are heeding that request and allowing police to continue their investigation, specifically here in this parking lot. Greta?
All right. Now, are there actually, of the 170 arrested, how many have been charged with murder? Any charge as of now?
Right. Well, they are facing that charge of engaging in organized crime with reference to capital murder. There were some questions today about 3 individuals who were released on bond. Their bond set at $50,000 and $20,000, and there were questions about that. Why weren't their bonds set at $1 million like the rest of the 167 bikers? Police addressed that just moments ago, and they basically said that those 3 individuals had different case numbers. Unclear to us right now how those case numbers were different or why, but they got different case numbers, and so their bonds were set much lower. They have been rearrested. 2 of the 3 have been rearrested, and police tell us that they expect the 3rd to be rearrested soon. Those bonds will be reset at $1 million as well.
Natalie, thank you. So what drives the biker gangs to such violence? Our next guest infiltrated the Hells Angels. Jade Evans joins us. Good evening, sir.
Thanks for having me, Greta.
So you, as a federal agent, went undercover with the Hells Angels. When was this?
2001 through 2003 in Arizona and Southern California.
What did you learn?
I learned how violent they were, how vicious they were, that the club, gang in this case, the patch they wear, it's their religion. It's the Bible that they follow, and they'll fight for it and kill for it. And as we saw in Waco Sunday, they'll die for it.
Now, the Hells Angels goes back to about 1948, and there are other big gangs, biker gangs in the country, like the Pagans. They go back to the 1950s in the Washington, D.C. area. Can you give me some idea of what the membership is now in the Hells Angels, which, incidentally, was not a part of this thing in Waco, but how big is it?
Thousands of members. They're an international crime syndicate worldwide. They're on 6 continents. The only continent that they're not on is Antarctica. And probably the only reason is because motorcycles won't run when it's 50 degrees below zero, or they'd be there too.
What do you know about the two main rival gangs that were here in Waco?
The Banditos are another international organized crime syndicate. They control Texas and a few other states. The Cossacks are a smaller club aligned with the Hells Angels and showed up in open defiance and disrespect of the Banditos and what the Banditos consider to be their territory, which is Texas.
Is the business for these 2 gangs illegal drugs, and are they sort of a little bit like Mexican cartels in that that's their trade?
It's a bit of that, sure. It's territory, it's power, it's influence, it's intimidation. I don't think biker gangs are really all that much different than traditional street gangs. Crips and Bloods fight over red and blue. Biker gangs fight over the different colors they wear.
Are there lawful members of the biker gangs? I know that the Justice Department recognizes many of these as crime syndicates, but are there people who join it and have they join it intending lawful purposes and having lawful goals?
I think there's hundreds of thousands of bikers out there who are not criminals, belong to civilian clubs that are not criminal. The 1%, the outlaws, they're the dangerous ones. They're the violent ones. And not every person who wears a Bandito vest or a Hells Angels vest is out there murdering or raping or selling drugs and guns. But there are members that are. They're tolerated within that gang. They're protected. They're respected within that gang. That's what delineates them from being a club. When they commit those types of violent crimes and they're protected, you become a gang.
Is there a leader of the Banditos? I mean, and do you know who that is? Is it well known?
I honestly can't tell you who the figurehead of the gang is, but they do have a structured leadership, much like traditional organized crime, where the foot soldiers are down on the street, down in the weeds, doing the dirt, and the higher up you go, the better insulated you are.
Jay, thank you very much. And of course, you've written a book about this. It's a fascinating read on sort of the culture of some of these crime syndicate biker gangs. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.